Alright, so this is probably going to be the most sought after model that I have made, and it is the M4A1. So, back when I built this took me a super long time, and it was really hard to do because I couldn't really see any of the proportions. So I do think it is perfect now, and if it's not, then so be it. Anyways, one thing I will have to point out is that the magazine is probably way too short. But this part is as it should be, but these parts may not be, so you will have to clip these together, and this probably doesn't need tape. So it does feature a fire selector, which might be a bit loose, so you can probably put some tape or rubber band on it so that it won't move too much, but it probably shouldn't because of friction. So it can be ambidextrous, but I've chosen not for it to not be ambidextrous. The trigger does work. It has minimal movement, just so that it can actually look like the the real one, but it does still move and it works. The magwell is kind of complicated, or at least I'd say it's kind of complicated because of the way that it's put together, but it should be pretty sturdy and well working. These pieces may fall off, but it's just to make sure that it looks good, and yeah. But this time it shouldn't fall off, because a lot of people said on the Honey Badger that their magwell fell off. I don't know how, but it did, so I do apologize about that. Another thing about this that's better than the Honey Badger is the bolt and bolt catch charging handle setup. So this time the bolt shouldn't get stuck on any pieces that shouldn't be there. On the Honey Badger model, I did have a piece so that I could actually attach the bolts in LDD, but this time I've made it red. So as with all my other models, red pieces often mean that it should be swapped out with a tile, of course if it's not a detail like over here. So yeah, red piece means tile, so that it'll slide perfectly, but this time the rubber band attachment is actually separated, so it's from here to there. On the Honey Badger it was all on the same piece, and it didn't really work out, so it was more just a mess. But here it works perfectly fine. The charging handle is not connected directly to the bolt, but it does pull on the bolt, so there should be a piece, yeah, right there. So it does pull on the bolt until it goes into the rear position, where it can then be locked by the bolt catch, and then you can lock it up, push the charging handle forwards, and then release the bolt. So the stock has a lever, so it does so you can pull back the stock and then it'll lock in on the positions that are on the buffer tube, and it does just do this by tilting on some Technic pins. The handguard is quite heavy, so I think this should hold it up. If it doesn't, then you'll just have to reinforce. Thing is, I can't see how gravity is in LDD, so yeah, if that ends up being a problem, then you're gonna have to fix it. The front sight is quite simple, but it does require a piece that some people may not have. But you can always just design it in your own way. That's kind of the charm of Lego. The carrying handle is stuck onto the model like the real M4A1, and this one will not hold up the model because it's not thick enough. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it about the model. The one big thing about this is the slopes. You do need a ton of slopes for this because of the handguard and the receiver and the grip. So yeah, if you're gonna make this color coded and you don't have all those pieces, then you better just order up. So yeah, again, you can make this without giving credit. I don't really mind anymore. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys with the next model.